So still waiting for that tiny swing high to be taken. Tracing back into this tiny fair value gap here, as well as the order block. Watch how I respect that. Holding so far, you can see the candle is closing above. Now, if you wanted to hold for 10:10, I think that wouldn't be a terrible idea. I'm expecting this to be swept out probably before even 10 o'clock. But as long as we continue to put candle bodies above this short-term buy side, I would like to see 669 swept. If we come up and sweep this and then start trading back lower, passing through this bisi especially, then I wouldn't be too keen to taking or holding the longs. But so far, respecting bullish PDRA so far, and there's your buy side liquidity, bagged and tagged. I'll take a screenshot of the demo trade once get filled out with the last partial. Last one's at 669. Screenshot this, send it to prediction chat as well. Still not too confident with the continuation trades to buy side or sell side. I prefer the low LRS. Oh yeah, low risk entries. Yeah, I agree. I think though if you have the element of time, it's a lot easier to identify those, like especially with the 950 macro, right? This here, swept out sell side, and we traded a lot of through the PD arrays in here. So I'm not expecting a huge return back into here, especially since we traded up past the 3-minute on, before the macro time. So this tap into the inversion is fine, especially since we're coming off a reversal. So, right, consolidation, revert or expansion, reversal down here. So you want to see this buy side liquidity hit. But yeah, I agree. If we were to chop around here before the inversion, I wouldn't really probably take a position at all. I'd probably look for this fair value gap to form as a lower buy opportunity, or even if we wanted to trade up into this 3-minute, then trade back lower, that'd be one thing. But yeah, I mean, for a Monday, I think that's a solid trade idea right there. That's already what, 30 points from the inversion premium end? Yeah, 38, 40 points. Yeah, time was perfect, so I guess yeah, I agree. Yeah, without that element of time, I would have just been sitting on my hands for sure. Still got 10 minutes left in the macro end. So I'm still holding the last partial up to that swing high here, this pre-market buy side liquidity. It's past the low, but it's fine. Stop is also in profit, so I'm not too waked out if we come back and stop that out. It's roughly at the 5-minute right here. This is where I have my stop loss at. This order block right here. Okay, so it's below the bisi, below this tiny order block right here, propulsion block technically. And if it was to come down and stop me out, that's fine. You can see how nice the old buying was working, right? Even on this fractal market maker buy model. So if I just remove these annotations really quick. Old buying right here. So look at this as the left side. This is the right side. Left side of the chart. Old buying right here, closed above. wick down, did not close back below the old buying. Here, old buying, closed up with this candle, didn't return anywhere past this level, right? Old buying right here, closed up right here, didn't close back below. Old buying right here, closed up with this candle. Now look, we wicked down into it with that next candle right here, and we didn't close back below. Again right here, we're holding it so far, right? So good bullish price action right there with the old buying. Hey, good stuff, Darist. Love to see it. Yeah, down here would be 2022. Only thing missing would be the market structure shift, which I would like to see this as your market structure shift up here. So then if we want to return back into like 50% of this range, whatever that might be, then yeah, that would be your bisi right in here. Morning, Paloma. Yeah, I already took a 950 little long right there. Wasn't expecting to because it's low probability, but it was clean enough where I felt comfortable taking something. I'm still looking for the buy side up here as the last partial, and then I'll send the screenshot. You can see look at the old buying right here. Holding it so far. Candle buying closed up with this gap and then tapped into it. So far we're holding. Yep, all good. I'm expecting maybe 1030 might want to reverse. We'll see. Got a nice reversal down here, so not expecting a whole lot. So if you don't get for 950 macro, if you watch that little back testing video, it's about like 45 minutes long. We had the A classification and the B classification. If you don't get one of those at pre-market or at 10 a.m., then most likely 1030 will reverse. I think we got that on Friday, actually. I believe. Let's go back and look. No, we didn't. Never mind. Oh, because we got a pre-market reversal up here. Okay, never mind. But that's just something to study if you're interested. I mean, swept out sell side liquidity, breaker structure, returned to 50%, and shot off the buy side liquidity. All on the 1 minute. Yeah, that is true. 2022 technically. But specifically, you wanted to see a retracement into a right side of the curve fair value gap, which we didn't really get. We returned it to the left side of the left side of the curve. This inversion for value gap in here. But yeah, it's a rough 2022 model. I agree. So we're still kind of tapping into this order block here. I'm not really liking price action too much to continue. I'm just going to take that last one off there. So I'm fine if it returns all the way back up. So I will remove this stop loss. So I'll send the demo trade over to predictions chart really quick. And of course this closes back all the way above. Tough. So you can take a look at futures trades. There's the execution. So I went long off that, tapping the inversion. I was looking for the fair value up to fill. Didn't get that. And then we traded back up, entered long right there on this candle. Then didn't get any heat after that, basically. Got this little wick lower. That was about it. And traded back up. Took one off at 20, one off at the buy side liquidity, and had that runner that I just took off there at the end. Overall, I think all partials are above 20 points. So solid trade setup. Once this macro is done, I'll send a screenshot of this over to the macro view as well. But in some consolidation now as expected. So consolidation expansion, reversal, all the way up to the buy side. Now we might see consolidation in here, so we can switch back to the 2 minute. Still closing above the old buying for the most part, right? Candlewise respecting the premium end right there. Let's look at ES really quick. Oh, ES had a beautiful entry there. Fabulous. Look at the buy side right here. Traded up past 50% after we swept out sell side liquidity. So sell side down here. Sell side sweep, traded back through the inversion, the inversion fair value gaps in here. Breaker as well. 950 macro starts right here at this candle. Dips into the bisi right in here. Let me shoot off more than 5 points. Here's your 5-point partial. Basically 10 points past the buy side. That was even a cleaner entry there. CYM as well. Entry given. They're definitely climbing for their buy side up here at 33.219. Be mindful of that. Should have left the runner. Whatever. I've been using a lot of the model. We were talking about the market maker X model, 50%. Here we wouldn't have had an entry for it, but it would have rocketed where we wanted to. Why that candle? Which candle? I actually went off. I used the 50% for this trade. So we did trade past 50% of this range right here. See, we traded up past through it with no retracement. So that really confirmed this swing high as a short-term target. But that's why I've been looking for this one. But the entry for me was just the inversion fair value gap on the 3 minute. So if you look at the 3 minute here, I was watching to see how we respected this going into 950 macro. I was expecting maybe a retracement stage of delivery. So you might want to come up into here, then return back lower, right? Because it's within 50% of this current dealing range here in premium. So I was watching to see how we closed on this. But then we, even with the 3 minute and on the 1 minute, you can see we just smashed right through it here, right at 949. So 50% smashed through multiple bullish PD or bearish PD arrays on the left side of the chart. And we had buy side liquidity on the 15-minute chart too. You can see the upside objectives. So all those things, I was fine with using the inversion as the gap or as the entry point. I was looking for this bisi here to be filled, but after we ran down here and closed bullishly, that to me was enough to enter. So far, we're still holding the bullish PD areas on this side. 3 minutes left. And you might climb all the way up to this buy side liquidity up here. It looks even better here. Nice Judah swing lower. Multiple Judah swings, I think. If you look at the 4 hour, you'll see it. Here's a bit cleaner. But on the 1 hour, Judah swing. So it's liquidity. Still expanding, got 2 minutes left, minute and a half. Old buying still holding in here. You can see we wicked into it. Still cannibalized, respecting it so far. Came up, tapped into this bisi. Cannibalized closing bullishly there. Still trading up. Don't think this high will be swept by macro end. We already got the requirements, right? Gap fill and the liquidity objective. So watch what we want to do going into 10:30. So in between now and 10:30, I'm not going to be taking any demo trades. Just going to be watching price, especially on a Monday. You don't really want to be trading in between that time frame. Even if something may happen, silver bullet, whatever it may be, unless that's your model, of course. I'm not going to suggest against that. But for me, looking in between those price point or those time points, especially on a Monday, is not a good idea. Still holding this bisi. I'm not liking the fact that we tap back into it. Market structure shift would be reasonably below this low if we wanted to switch bearish. Do have this gap down here. Gotta watch. Let's look at the 3-minute actually. Yeah, BPR in here technically now with this bisi. So if we were to return back into here, I would expect some consolidation, respect of it, maybe bounce back out. Oops. So if we were to return into this BPR, either consolidate, I would expect either a Judah swing where we swept out the buy side like this and then return lower, or just a return back higher after we tap into the BPR, which would be a retracement stage, right? Tapping into discount, and then you'd have to see what stage you're on previously and then estimate the next one. But so far we are still holding the bisi in here. Canada buys are respecting at least 50%. It's not as bullish as it used to be, but you can see we're still holding there, right? Actually, I can turn on the midpoint. What am I doing? There we go. Trade nicely so far. We just tapped into the new week opening gap low. Watch the midpoint, but I mean the buy side is decently close to the midpoint. So what, like, yeah, 4 points away. So I wouldn't expect it to just tap into the midpoint and reject off of it. I'd like to see it just climb all the way through. And if you look at the 5-minute, this right here is a nice expansion all the way up into this swing high. I think it's past 50% there with no retracement. So if you're looking at that, it's not really a direct time element, not really a session range or anything. It's just more of the daily range from high to low. But if you're using that as your market maker buy model, then your first leg up right here pretty strong. You would be targeting that buy side liquidity. Oh, there is? Let me check. Let me this one up here from last week. Yeah. Yeah, we do gotta be mindful of that. So I mean, if you look at the weekly chart, swept out salsa liquidity on the weekly. And if you look at this one right here, let's look at the hourly. This is what we were calling for last week. So yeah, large salsa liquidity pools all in here. Just hit that. I don't know if it would be a specific draw. I mean, it is quite nice. Nice volume balance here, but then premium. And we swept out liquidity. I'll have to see for tomorrow. We have tons of news this week, so I'd be watching to see if we continue to trade lower on Tuesday and Wednesday. There's no way we'll climb up into here on Thursday and Friday. But if Tuesday we start trading back, you do have a sibi in here as well. Oops. So sibi right below the volume imbalance, which I think this would be more of a draw than this for the current time. But yeah, just gotta watch for today. We'll see how today closes. If we do close the daily chart like this, then I'd be watching that volume bounce in the what's it called? sibi up here. So right now we're trading up through the gaps, holding bullish PD arrays. I'm still watching for 669. I really should have held that partial. That would have been a nice trade there. Can we stream through the 1030 macro? Yeah, for sure. YM did not take the sell side. Didn't actually check that. Let's look. On the daily? I think we did sweep it on the daily. Did we not? 3302133. Yeah, we swept it by like 7 points. Nothing outrageous. But yeah, we did sweep it on all three. If we didn't, though, that would have been nice bullish SMT at the lows, right? Especially if ES and NQ both swept theirs out. Getting some high resistance signatures up in here. So be mindful of retracement after we sweep out this bisi liquidity. Right, high resistance to low resistance. So a lot of sell side liquidity building up. Sell side liquidity right here. Sell side, sell side, sell side. That's why price typically runs from high resistance to low resistance, because during the high resistance portions, you have a lot of stops that build up. Here's a great example, actually. Traded back lower, low resistance to high resistance. We're trading back up into 50% of that daily range from high to low. 50%, sweeping out internal range bisi liquidity. High resistance, meaning we have a lot of retracements, a lot of consolidation periods, consolidation, expansion, retracement. You can see a lot of stops, a lot of sell stops, sell stops, sell stops, all building up into here. And then quickly, 930 equities open, run up into the fair value gap on ES here. And then we just shoot lower aggressively, sweeping out all of these sell stops quickly, right? Because if you have a high resistance move, you want to quickly get through all of that liquidity, right? So if we were to just build up all these sell stops and then dink it once and then retrace, it gives all those people who are trapped a time to get out, too much time to get out. You want to just to quickly run through all of those stops, especially if you want to build a long position that's nice, right? So you're getting accumulating sell stops here. That's why these old buying sections work, right? Accumulating sell stops, old buying in here. So they're buying longs, institution, or central banks, whatever you want to call them, market makers, buying longs in here with the pairing of the sell stops. That's why we have a green candle right here. If you want to see it like that, sell stops here and here, green candle, old buying. Ultimate portion is where they build up a majority of their portion down here. This is the salsa liquidity pool, and then you can see why the old buying in here all was held, because all of these long positions in here want to be profitable. So as soon as they see profit, this is what market maker Turbo taught me. So he's a great, intelligent man. He's got some solid stuff on his YouTube channel, so please go check him out. But he was basically explaining it like this, where once you see that old buying on the left side of the curve, once they become profitable, they don't want to see any more drawdown. So got profitable here with this candle closing above, tapping into it, but you can see the candle buy is holding. Profitable once they pass this old buying, this little position here. Traded up through it, didn't see any more drawdown after that. Old buying in here, old buying in here. Same exact idea, right? Until they reach their liquidity target. That's basically what you see. What is the ICT event horizon? I believe I haven't used it in a while, but I believe it's 50% between new week opening gaps. So if you take, for me, I have the last 8 new week opening gaps over here. But if you take the new week opening gaps, you measure from premium end to discount end. So I'll just do an example. So see how there's like a gap here where there's no new week opening gap? So an inversion, no, I'm just kidding. So there's a gap here in price where there's no gray box, which is good. So a lot of trading happens in between here. The event horizon is basically you split this in half. This is some advanced stuff. I don't even use it anymore. I don't know who actually uses this, but it is one of the PDRAs that he does mention. But you take this, you split it in half. This is your event horizon, and he says if price trades past that event horizon, you can expect the next new week opening gap to be traded through. So if we're trading around here, bounce off this new week opening gap, and then we trade through the event horizon, start closing above it, then you would expect this new week opening gap to be used, which it's extremely powerful if you're using large ranges of new week opening gaps, right? So like here, you have a huge price leg, 200 points, which if you were to split that in half and we see a trade above it, then you could basically just use this as your next target. I have not really backtested it at all, so yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't really know about it. Yeah, he taught it like in March or something. Oh, there's the buy side. I wasn't even paying attention. There's your buy side liquidity. I'll send a screenshot of that into your predictions chat. That's random if you ask me. Um, yeah, he mentioned it in like March or something, and then really didn't mention anything after that. Nice breaker formation in here for value gap. So if we were to trade all the way back below 14,635, that'd be a nice reversal point. Right up in here, you look for the sell stops and this gap down here. It's quite effective, but it has to be used in conjunction with higher time from draw, otherwise it gets shredded. Yeah, he also tarred in the chart, didn't call it that. Yeah, he's got some. He just comes up with whatever he wants. The Meduse PD array. He just be putting random stuff on those names. Exactly. We're also trading up into a ES hourly gap, so be mindful of that. We just tapped into it on NQ. I'll send a screenshot actually too. Actually, I'll just send it in here. So look at the chat, you'll see. Left side is NQ, right side is ES. You can see we traded up to that hourly gap there. A little bit of SMT at the highs. Nothing crazy though. Watch how we hold this gap. But there's your perfect example of the 50% rule holding, right? High to low right here. Boom, one candle, two candles, trading up through 50% right there. So that confirms that short-term buy side and this buy side right here. For me, even this Asian range stack liquidity up here is not a bad target, especially since if you look, trade open, we only got one good selling opportunity, and that was really the swing high here at 230. But didn't return really into any bullish PD array during London. So, sorry, not bullish PD array, bearish PD array past this. So if we returned up into here in London to this tiny gap and then started trading lower, I wouldn't expect that high to be taken out anymore. But since we did leave kind of stack liquidity with the Asian range high and London high, and we swept out the sell liquidity from the daily, traded back up, I would like to see these ran out either by the PM session or by Tuesday morning. But so far holding the bullish PD area, so if, like as we continue to trade full closer to the buy side up here, still holding them, right? Still missing the element of time. So in between, what, 10:10, whoops, 10:10 and 10:30. Not the cleanest of price action. It's hard to shoot up right there, but I get the 20 off that. But you can see in between that little price point, it's not super clean. New week opening gap just hit on ES. Let's take a look. Yep, consequent encroachment right there with this little gap. So watch how we respect that. If we start trading through these gaps, if we put a candle body above 42.52, then I would expect the Asian / London highs up here to be hit. So we got buy side right here. right up there. So far, favoring bullish price action for the 1030 sweet spot. Order block with fair value gap, technically propulsion block in here. Order block right here. Another order block that approaches or taps into a previous order block in the same direction. So you wouldn't really want to see mean threshold of this right here traded through. So look as this is breakaway gap. Excuse me. Breakaway gap right here. So typically with breakaway gaps, you can expect them with a multitude of different ways. One would be reaction off of a higher time frame liquidity point or an imbalance fill. So if we come down like this, come down swept out sell side, and then we instantly start climbing through inversion gaps, we leave these as breakaways, right? Another one would be the consolidation range. If we start to quickly expand out of consolidation, sometimes you'll see breakaway gaps left in that process. You'll see maybe consolidation range, break out of the consolidation, and then use like the second per value gap. Another one would be the old buying, old selling. So if you have a clean market maker sell model or buy model, and we have a fair value gap that forms on top of the left side of the curve inversion fair value gaps, then you'll see that be used. Even here, nice market maker sell model, old selling in here. You can see how we basically respected it for the most part. Trade it back lower. So if you have fair value gaps that form on top of that, breakaway gaps typically form. Propulsion blocks would also be nice to see breakaway gaps form on top of those. Obviously, you won't always be right. So if we were to come back and fill this entire thing, that'd be fine. But if you wanted to remain bullish, the price won't really return into mean threshold of the propulsion block. Especially if we were to close through this breakaway gap, close through this order block, and take out this low. For me, that's indication maybe we're on a reverse. Still outside of the macro time though, right? So far holding as a breakaway, it just came down and filled, not even 50% of it. I mean, look at all the sell stops though. You can see from here as the original consolidation range in here. Sell stops, sell stops, sell stops, sell stops. Old selling. ICT posted a funny clip on Twitter. He missed the 950. And whenever he takes those trade, whenever you take a trade and he takes it as well, that's like the greatest feeling because you're like, I'm finally learning what he's teaching. For me, that was like, I think it was back in like, I don't know, like June or something. I took a silver bullet trade and then he posted on Twitter that same exact trade. I was like, this is the greatest feeling ever. I'm curious now. What did he post? Was it just a trade idea or him executing on something? He definitely had a better entry than I did. Oh, execution. Oh yeah, he entered almost on the same exact spot that I did. Oh, and he didn't even take the. I'm not gonna clown him. Whatever. I was gonna say he just targeted this high. He didn't even go for the pre-market buy side. Whatever. He's the boss. I won't make fun of him. Yeah, it's low probability. I agree. I'm not really liking anything in this. Unless we get clean displacement through the low, then it'd be a nice short. But I'm not liking longs this far into premium. Especially since I don't really know if we want to sweep out of London / Asian range yet. And we're trading through this breakaway. More importantly though, are we trading past mean threshold? You haven't put a candle body past it. Yep, we did fill the 1 hour gap. I'm watching that right now on the other screen. Yes, a little bit more bearish. Actually, no. Basically the same thing. Let me send that to predictions though, 10:30. So I traded all through the breakaway. Here would be your market structure shift below here. New week opening gap being respected right now, but 15-minute doesn't show signs of wanting to go lower. Let's look at ES. That is true. We did fill this 15-minute gap and the hourly gap, so be mindful of that. Closed quite bearishly too, especially after sweeping buy side. But yeah, no real crazy indication that we want to switch lower, especially since we did climb up here, like the 15-minute chart. That to me looks like we want the buy side, right? It is through 50%, but yeah, it's no session. Technically, it's just the day. We're still putting candle buys within this breakaway gap that I deleted, but I'm not really liking any entry. I don't want to take a long here because preferably this would have been the candle I went long on. And unless we can break through this market structure shift with displacement, not liking shorts. Yep, I'm watching for low risk sell. Especially if we close to this inversion breaker in here and the market structure shift, I'd be targeting this low as the sell side. Just for the short term. Also have, I think, a 5-minute gap lower. Yeah, all the way down here. Right, we have this BPR on the 3-minute. Drag that out, there's your BPR. Looks like we're starting to get some displacement. Good enough for me. So watch the breaker in here. And this inversion for value up on the 1. It's kind of messy. Let me actually remove this middle line. Now, if you're looking, we did technically close through the old selling in here. So if we wanted to wick into this inversion gap, wick into the breaker, watch where the candle buys close. If we continue to close bearishly below this old selling, that would be nice. Technically as a breaker as well. I mean, look at this, right? If you take this original consolidation low to high, is this the first leg here? I don't really know. But I mean, we did dip into past 50%, so to me that would make it seem like we want to confirm this low. I'll send a screenshot of this actually to your prophecy chat. $14,611. I'm getting some nice displacement now. First partial will be this swing low here at this bisi. You're roughly about 20 points from the tiny gap there. You can see the low risk sell opportunity right in here. 20 points from this, roughly down to there. We'll leave that on. So far holding the old selling in here. Watch now, if we do close below here, I would like to see speed. So watch this. If we get closure below here, I want to see it smash to the sell side, then quickly expand through there. Technically rejection block in here as well, but it's not at the high end or low end of the range, so low probability. $15-minute inversion. Where here? This one? Try that out. I guess so. Yeah, I gotta be mindful of that. We'll see how this candle wants to close. This to me doesn't, it's not really nice for bearish price action. Kind of trading all the way up. See how we put a candle body now? This to me doesn't really look too clean for shorts now. If you trade up through this breaker, which looks like, yeah, I'm not too confident with shorts now. I think you're right about that 15-minute inversion. I didn't even see that. It's definitely difficult to see these ones in here. Still a sell side down here. I'm going to keep this marked out. Yep, I'm watching this high up here. These highs. There's the Asian range as well. That's what I've been watching. Trading up through it right now. I'd like to see this swing high taken at least by 10:45. Watch the bisi in here. There's the tap. Look at the left side of the curve here. Left side, right side. Fractal market maker buy model. First expansion leg past 50%, so that confirms this short-term high. In my eyes, right? Look at this. So swept out short-term sell side right here. Traded up through 50%, and we left this gap right in there. So to me that makes sense. May return into this gap, I'm watching, but yeah, it's a possibility we do return into here. Looks like we're holding it though so far. Four minutes left. I mean, low probability as we expected. Do have old buying here, but we didn't really put a nice candle body with displacement above it. So until we break above here, if we do break above here, we would like to see speed. So watch this candle. Next two candles. If we put a candle body above here, I'd like to see speed. Just quick acceleration up into the AM high. Something like that. Watch that AM high. Then looking for the relative equal highs there on NQ as well. Was that at like 17? Yeah, 14,717. Look at the speed there. Let me there we go. So still looking for the buy side up here. Send a screenshot to predictions chat. I don't know why I flipped short there. First leg past 50%. So preferably we don't return back into this gap here. Let me remove some of this stuff. You don't want to return into this gap, preferably. Just want to see expansion. Watch the London high, actually as your next partial. That would also be fine. Let's see here. London high and Asian high stacked. So typically whenever you see this kind of price action in the pre-market and we don't return into, so London on a classic buy day or sell day, London will form the high or low of the day, or just high or low of the London and New York session. So classic buy day, you'll have consolidation like this during Asian range. So we have this Asian range high, Asian range low. London will come down either sweeping the sell stops that form during Asian range, and preferably tapping into a PD array that's on this side of like the chart right here. Right, we have some sort of PD array, maybe fair value gap right here. Tapped into it during London, and then we see acceleration going into New York, and then New York we either reverse or retrace. So we start tracing here at 8:30 or something, and then we get a continuation entry for the rest of the day, or you'll see something like this, and then you see a reversal going into New York session because we just swept out a buy side liquidity point. Okay. Now, if London does not do that, and you have these kind of stacked liquidity points here, you want to see what price action does after that. So if we do sweep a sell side liquidity pool, or if we start to reverse, then you would expect the daily range to sweep out this liquidity because this is a lot of liquidity to have, especially at the start of the week. You want to see these guys profitable the entire week. It'd be kind of weird. Here's a good example. We did sweep out high and low of Asian range there. Great example of low of the day. Obviously, this is on a Thursday, and we did have news. J Powell speaking, but you can just see conceptually if you just kind of cut this off the chart. Buy side liquidity up here. London low came down, swept out sell stops, and the Asian low right here wicked into it, and then we started trading back up, going into the AM session. So that's like a beautiful kind of classic London range right there. But if you have these scenarios where it stacks like this, a lot of times you'll see it ran through, especially early on in the week. Some days if you're in roughly like Wednesday or Thursday and you're already expanding on the weekly basis. So if you look at the daily chart and we're already, okay, here's your high of the week. We formed it on Monday or Tuesday and we're already trading lower. Sometimes you'll see this kind of happen and we don't tap into this. That's why your daily bias is important. And it's kind of just left as a breakaway gap. Not really a gap, but you get what I'm trying to say. We just leave that, right? But if you're not already in the expansion phase, then typically you'll see that swept. Or if we're on a Friday or Thursday and we've already put in the higher low of the week after the expansion, then sometimes you'll see a reversal happen and you'll see that taken out. But with the daily bias structure, you see you've already swept out sell side. Alright, swept out sell side. We have a lot of PD arrays here on the daily. Sibi in here that needs to be taken out. And it's a Monday. So accumulation on Monday would expect some sort of retracement. So that's why I would like to see that taken out either probably by tomorrow. Came back, traded into the gap here. Didn't get any really continuation. And we're kind of just chopping around in this range. Look at the 3-minute, it's not super clean, right? Nothing crazy clean in there. Got the speed up to the buy side and then we traded back lower. Look at all these sell stops though. It is somewhat of interest to me. If we do start trading through these gaps, watching for that sell side. But that's obviously short term. Higher time frame states that Asian range high should be taken out. But as we approach 11 o'clock and lunch hour, you'll probably see some, either we sweep this out going to lunch, then you would want to see a reversal. But if we leave these sell stops going into lunch, then you would see tap the sell side, and then we shoot up with the PM session. Would be a little weird though on the daily time frame for the 9:30 low to make the low of the day here. And we just continue up. Who knows though. 1050 macro, I'm not really liking anything here. We do this untapped gap down here. I don't think we'll return into here if we want to remain bullish though. So 1050, nothing super high probability there. Excuse me. Right. Yeah, low risk sell, way more high probability after a sweep of a higher time frame buy side liquidity. So having this buy side liquidity higher, always low probability, still a good trade because low risk. Break even for me there. Yeah, I agree. Especially if we have, excuse me, especially if we have a higher time frame pull lower and we sweep out some sort of buy side liquidity, which the higher time frame pull is higher in this case, right? So got to be careful. Although it was a nice setup, right? Break formation, broke the displacement or the swing low here with displacement, turned back up into it. Good idea conceptually, especially after we already swept out the buy side here that we were looking for during the 950 macro. But yeah, low probability there. Kind of just stuck in this range. Not really interested in it anymore. Let's look at DXY. Yeah, DXY is chopping around too, so be mindful of that. A little bit of bullish SMT there. So yeah, NQ is basically trading at the little bit higher. So look at that SMT here with ES. Right, so keep that in mind. But nothing here screaming super high probability. So won't be trading the 1050 macro, so we'll most likely end the stream there. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM. I'll post the stream recording up on YouTube probably by, I don't know, 12. Whenever it's done rendering, it'll be uploaded. I think that's it. I'm trying to do a video this week, probably a longer video. Oh, backtesting. We could do one today if you want, or we could do another backtesting session probably sometime this week. Could do one tomorrow as well. So if you have any questions, you can put them up in the Q&A. We'll try and go over those, or just DM me and we'll review that on the backtesting. So until I see you guys tomorrow, have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, use proper risk management, and I will see you guys then. Peace.